Welcome, everybody, to another live episode of Strong Style. I am one of your hosts, the Outlaw John Rocha, coming to you live from Los Angeles, and joining us live down there in Orlando, my co-host for the show. Every week we do this thing. That is the man, Aaron Turner. How are you, Aaron? How's it going?
Hotspot City. Just hanging out, trying to go out as little as possible. But real quick, before let's start off the show with something really good.
Please.
My good buddy TJ, writer and contributor to jobberknocker.com, great wrestling site. You should check it out. Had a fresh child yesterday.
Oh,
so him and the wife doing very well. Yes. Very nice. Child Logan, a little baby boy.
Logan's a great man.
He was in the same waiting room with Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits, who also had a child yesterday. So congratulations to Angelo Dawkins as well. So
did he do any work?
Good note.
Yeah, did he do any work? Did he record an interview with Dawkins or anything while they're sitting in the waiting room? Or
no, he told, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but he told me, he said he was wearing a Kevin Owens shirt in the waiting room, my friend was, and he said that Angelo Dawkins leaned into him and said, "Congratulations, fam." And that's really all that happened. But it's a pretty cool moment because Angelo Dawkins is a cool guy. So
I truly believe that. I like this. Tommy Tom already. Strong style babies. Absolutely. Strong style babies rolling up through here. So congratulations. Look, you got a little beard coming in. What's going on there? What are you trying to do? You trying to play heel on the show? What's going on?
Trying to hide my double chin. It's more like it, but I'm sure if that's what you. No, man, my wife gets really upset with me when I'm clean shaven because I look like a child, like a baby. And so I shaved and I bathed for Strong Style today. Yeah. So that's why the no hat today. The hair is coiffed. Yeah, ready to go, man.
Same, brother. Same. I've been going since 8:30 this morning. We kind of slept in a little bit, so when I sleep in, I don't shower. Jumped on Mornings with the Outlaw, did that live, then jumped right on to SCN Live, and then just recorded an episode of the Cinephiles for us coming up soon, and then had half an hour break. And in that half an hour break, I took a quick 5-minute shower, 8-minute shower, and then watched the match that we're going to talk about today, brother. And ladies and gentlemen, you all are in for a conversation. If you have not watched this match, first of all, let me tell you something. You are in for a treat. It is one of the best matches I've ever seen, male or female. And this is something from way back in the past, I think. And there's 94. A lot of was that
94? Yeah,
94. There's a lot of shades of what you would come to see in ECW, NXT, and some of the greatest matches you'll see in the WWE or WCW or AEW. There's a lot of beats that this match maybe predated or influenced, but it's an incredible match that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. I can't wait to get into it, and especially a female Japanese wrestling match, which I don't get to see that often. I thoroughly was enjoying watching it, Aaron, so thank you to whoever suggested. I don't know if you suggested or a fan suggested it, and you approved it. However we got to this match, was it Manami Toyota versus Aja Kong? Is that correct?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Bruce, one of our listeners, has been on me to watch this match. You got to watch this match. You got to watch this match. Well, finally, I did watch it, and I was like, okay, I understand why we need to put this on the slate right away. So I'm glad. I'm glad that he reached out to me because I don't know if I would have seen it otherwise. So I'm glad.
Yeah, great point. Great point. So many of you joining us live, which we appreciate. Absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping in here on Strong Style. You're the reasons we do the show, and we're excited to do the show. We got to keep it a tight 1 hour today. I've got something, if you can't believe this, I got something after this at 4 o'clock that we got to jump onto. So I want to make sure we get to everything. But hey, the super chats are open. The Streamlabs are open. And if you donate $20 or more, we'll read it in an Outlaw bot voice or in an Aaron bot voice, whatever you want us to do, we're down to do. So please support us as we wrap up the week. Support the Outlaw Nation as we wrap up the week, and send in some donations, send in some Streamlabs, send in some super chats. Keep the lights on here in the Outlaw Nation. We would greatly appreciate it. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to the Outlaw Nation channel yet, please do so too, right there down below, and give us some likes. We got about 20 of y'all watching us live. I'm sure that number will go up. So give us likes for right now, and then we'll keep rolling as we go through this. Thanks to everybody who's joining us live here. Bruce Camboso, Scott Welsh, Gramash, Haskell 420. What's up, Haskell? Tommy Tom, J-Dog, of course. Let's see, Kevin Lenda and Chris Taylor. And already we got a super chat that rolled in here real quick. Aaron, let me bring that up as we're doing the show here. Hold on a second. There we go. Tommy Tom says, no, not on Rundown, but curious if you guys saw the Jericho versus Orange Cassidy match. Been using AEW, NXT, and Orange to get friends back into wrestling. Aaron?
Didn't see it.
Did not see.
Haven't watched it. Didn't watch Friday Fest Night 2. It's been a hell of a week for me. I did catch NXT, only the second half really.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of behind on my wrestling this week, which is why it's not in the rundown. But I hear good things, and I always love Jericho. He's one of my favorites ever.
Hell yeah. And Jericho, right now, it's being negotiated. Jericho Schmodown match for real, taking on possibly the other celebrity who's come into the Schmodown as well. If they work out the timing and the schedule, I think it's going to happen. So it'd be great it'd blow my mind to see Jericho at a Schmodown event. Insane. Maybe one day we'll get to work a program together, because Lord knows I would love to test my promo skills against one of the greatest, if not the greatest, promo guys on the mic. Anyway, we're going to jump to a lot of news and then get to that main match like we spoke about a little bit later on in the show. Aaron, take it away. What do we got first?
This one, I got to shout out Haskell for this one, because he pointed this out to us. This is from Fightful.com is where I got it, but it's all over the internet. So AJ Styles went online yesterday, I'm not really sure, and he was talking about a bunch of stuff like Gallows and Anderson getting let go recently. Looks like they're going to show up on Impact, as a side note there.
Yeah.
And then he said he made a statement today about the rumors that the reason that he left Monday Night Raw was because of bullying. And he said that wasn't true. And he called Paul Heyman a liar.
Right.
So he said, let me get to that part real quick. I got the thing pulled up here. And he said, I'll just throw that out there. When it comes to the rumor of Paul Heyman and me being upset with him, because he didn't take out for Gallows and Anderson, that's not what it was at all, not even close. I'll give you a snippet of what me, Gallows, and Anderson already know. Heyman's a liar. Wow. Now you know, I'm sure you know, going back to his ECW days, he's a bold-faced liar. That's my take on it.
Wow.
So you have AJ Styles, one of the most probably non-controversial guys you'll ever find. There you go. Family man, phenomenal one. Coming out and saying this is something I didn't see coming, but you got to think it's two of his best friends that got let go, and to hear this kind of stuff coming from AJ, he has to feel very passionate about it. But did this catch you off guard as it did me?
Yeah, a little bit caught me off guard because, with the WWE, you don't speak out against the guys who are kind of higher up in the chain. And I don't mean that he's bigger than AJ. I just mean like he's one of the business boys in the back there. Heyman is, and he played multiple roles in the WWE. Certainly, as we all know, in ECW was one of the driving forces before ECW. So it's shocking to see this, but also, did the murmurs, did the rumors, did the conversations reach some kind of max level where AJ heard it and felt the need to address it? That's what I found interesting on my end, is like, well, how loud was the cacophony of voices repeating this, what he considers to be a lie on the message boards or online or on social media to the point where he felt the need to address it on one of his streams and address it strongly and firmly. So I'm going to be curious to see if this is an angle they're playing at, or if this is real heat between the two gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that, because AJ even said, and I don't know him at all, but I just assume he's that kind of guy, being the veteran in the business that he is, that if he had a problem with somebody, he would just flat out say that he's got a problem. And he pretty much said that Paul Heyman, bold-faced liar, that means you got a problem with somebody. Paul Heyman is no longer the Raw creative. They've actually combined one into one creative team. We talked about that, I think, last week, or maybe the week before. So Paul Heyman's not exactly in charge with that anymore. So I don't think that would have had something to do with AJ going to SmackDown. It doesn't seem right in the timing. But I think someone said it in the chat. Aaron Entertainment in there in the chat said, I think AJ fits better on SmackDown. I think you're exactly right. I think he does fit better on SmackDown than he does Raw. It's just a different vibe on SmackDown. Yeah. He's got more people to go through. Matt Riddle, Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak. He can have fresh matchups with people that he can on Raw. Just, I don't know. Raw's just, I can't watch it lately. But AJ is one of these guys that will speak his mind if needed.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with you. And look, AJ is where, SmackDown is where AJ really made his bones, or his, got his attention in the WWE, winning that belt, winning that championship, having these feuds throughout. So why wouldn't he go that route as well? I think it's a great thing for him to do for himself, and it works better. As we said, it works better for him to be on SmackDown than Raw. There's more going on. That's the more premier show Whatever's going on between him and Paul Heyman, maybe AJ feels he's at that point where he can say something like this. A lot of people are speaking out, Aaron, about sexual assault allegations, about mistreatment in the back, about abuse, from the Bill DeMott situation. That was kind of a blip in the radar. Now we're seeing multiple blips over the last few weeks of people complaining about, a number of Blanchard, like Tessa. There's a number of people complaining about Tessa, complaining about the treatment, complaining about treatment of women, complaining about treatment of people of color. It's all coming out now in the wash. So why wouldn't AJ feel emboldened to speak out against somebody who's usually pretty protected or usually pretty, pretty beloved by most of the fans? AJ must feel that it's time to speak out about this because he wants to defend his piece of the pie or his territory and defend his boys, Gallows and Anderson, who he clearly has a genuine affection for as friends.
Yeah, I mean, he's the locker room leader at this point. He may not be the longest tenured guy in the WWE, only about 4 years with the company, but still all that credo from Impact and from his early days in WCW, all the way through New Japan. So he's a guy that you're going to listen to, and he's a voice that needs to stand up. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Randy Orton. Yeah, if there was a guy that Vince McMahon would listen to about face coverings or shutting down, it would probably be Randy Orton because he's been there for so long. I think he would listen to AJ Styles as well, and I'm sure that AJ knows that if he says something like this, then he's going to take a lot of heat, and I think he's okay with that because he is that locker room leader. He is that tenured guy, and he will take that on.
And he's trying to bring attention to the situation, And Paul Heyman's been around for decades. Everybody hits that wall, dude. Cornette hits that wall. Everybody hits that wall where the wrestlers turn on them and go, "You're irrelevant to us now." And everybody hits that wall after a while who's been back there in the back so long. So maybe it's just Paul Heyman's turn to kind of take a little bit of guff. And now that they've removed him from creative, he doesn't have as much power to influence what storylines you're involved in or not involved in. So, we'll see if this plays out. We'll see how this plays out and if this becomes an angle that they play with down the road. I don't know. All right, anything more to say on that? Or are we good?
No, I'm good on that. I'm good on that.
We got a Streamlab that came through here real quick. Thank you, Christine. She sent in some money here. She said, "Morning, guys. Having just watched Hamilton and also Lin-Manuel Miranda being a wrestling fan, who would be the perfect wrestler to have a Hamilton-esque musical made about them?" What a fantastic question, Christine. Wow. Maybe one of the best ones we've ever gotten here on the show. What do you think? First of all, Aaron, did you see Hamilton or have you seen Hamilton? And B, who would you see as kind of a Hamilton-esque type character to do a musical about?
I haven't watched Hamilton yet. I feel like I'm like the only person that hasn't watched it in the past week since it went on streaming. But no, I haven't. Somebody I would I don't know about a Hamilton music made about them, but someone that could be in the cast is Scarlett Bordeaux from NXT because she's got pipes, man.
Oh yeah,
she can sing. She sings Karrion Kross's theme song. But as far as that, I mean, Ric Flair. Let's have a Ric Flair Hamilton musical. You could have one about The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you wanted to. Right. I think those would be pretty good.
I think those would be good. I mean, remember that it's I love it. I'm down. I'm so down. I think
R-Truth for everything.
I'd love to see R-Truth as Jefferson doing the rap battle. Jefferson coming in going, "What's up? What's up?" I just would love to see that overall. But yeah, very funny. I guess Vince is the natural in my head choice, but Hamilton did have some redeeming qualities. So I don't know where we go with this. Is Vince the right choice? Because he did change the world. He did change professional wrestling. Maybe you go and explore, the nefarious deals he did in the back and what happened with him. All of that. Flair's a great choice. Absolutely. Damn, Randy Savage would be interesting as well because Hamilton never became president, so he isn't necessarily one of the top guys that people think about. I mean, even the musical at the end says this founding father needs more respect or needs more attention. So maybe Savage is the guy you talk about, kind of a guy who veered close to the top and then would come back down the mid card, then pop up to the top and come back down the mid card. You don't necessarily think of Savage as a mid carder, but you don't necessarily think of him as a perennial top guy who leads the company. So he's somewhere in that middle space. So Savage would be very interesting and someone that people love. So I could see Randy Savage being that a person you could do a musical about for sure.
I'm not going to agree with you calling Randy Savage on a top guy.
Well, I'm
on
just
a perennial
saying, he only held the belt
man.
one time. That's all I'm getting.
He held it twice, actually. He held the World
okay.
Heavyweight Championship twice. But yeah, he was always a company guy and always the top guy. I don't know what you're talking about. I disagree 100% with that statement. So
all right.
No.
Fair.
Topic.
All right, next topic. Bring it up. And keep those Streamlabs and Super Chats coming through, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep supporting the Outlaw Nation and supporting us here on Strong Style. Go ahead, Aaron.
So conflicting reports are coming out this week that Kairi Sane, one of my favorites, might be leaving the WWE soon when her contract expires, I believe, in August of next month. Here's just a little background on where this came from. Sites like the Sportster and Sportskeeda and other what I like to call non-reputable sites are reporting that it is a done deal that she is leaving. Okay. However, on Monday Night Raw, the Pirate Princess Kairi Sane made her return, being out for about a month of action, defeating Sasha Banks.
Oh, so, yeah, right.
I don't know if we can have a lot of credence to what's going on there. Guys, if you read the Sportster or Sportskeeda, you should stop. They don't even use correct punctuation when they write stories, so I can't even get down with that. And I don't care if they have Harvard journalists working for them. They're terrible. Both of those Sportster, Sportskeeda, they're awful. 411 Mania, don't read it. It's terrible. Stick with the sites. Read Dave, read Pro Wrestling Sheet, read Ryan's. I mean, do stuff like that. Don't listen to these jerk offs. Yeah. But anyway, so Kairi Sane's husband does work in Japan, so that would make sense that she would want to move back. There's, of course you would want to be closer to your significant other. She recently got married. I'm sure maybe a family's on the horizon, but she's in a top spot in this company, and I don't know if she's really willing to give that up. She wanted to do a WrestleMania moment for her deceased friend. She dedicated her WrestleMania moment this past year to her friend that recently died. Yeah. And I think she's got a lot more to go in this company that I think she wants to accomplish. So I don't think that this is true. I'm going to file this story under complete bullshit. Okay. So what do you think about this? Do you want to see Kairi Sane go back to Japan?
No, I don't. I mean, I think she worked so hard to kind of get over with the fans once she came up from NXT. It took her a long time to come up from NXT. And once she did, being paired with Asuka was a great combo. And she delivered some really good matches. And then they had to kind of build their reputation up to the point where they would win the belts and get the belts. And of course, they don't have them now, but they're still part of the conversation, still part of the equation here to get those belts down the road. Kairi Sane has delivered some great matches. Certainly, she's beloved by the WWE fans for the Pirate Princess stuff. So overall, I would be very, very shocked with the amount of work and time and effort that she's put in to establish herself with the WWE universe and the WWE fans, that she'd be willing to go back to Japan to essentially kind of just pick up where she left off back there and not quite have the same kind of oomph that she had before, in my opinion. So I would be shocked if she left, but dude, wrestlers are wrestlers, especially foreign wrestlers. Sometimes the call of home, brings them back. And so maybe she's just feeling like she wants to go back just for a little bit, touch base, all the stuff with COVID, coronavirus. I don't know where her family is. If her entire family is in Japan, maybe she's just missing them and wants to go back for a year or two and kind of reconnect and stay close to them again and not lose any of them to this virus. So you just never know what's going on in people's minds and the decisions they make in those moments. So maybe, but like you said, if it's coming from one of these websites that aren't that reputable, then I don't really 100% believe that it's actually happening or that it's actually an issue.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like it's a grabbing headline, a clickbaity headline that says, "Oh, Kairi Sane's gonna leave," and people are like, "What?" I got to click on that because she's been such a big part of NXT and then into WWE. Like you mentioned, the tag team championship run. Right. With Asuka as the women's champion right now. I'd like to see those two fight. I'd like to see those two to get it on, because before there was really Io Shirai in NXT, there was Kairi Sane, and she was great. And I would actually like to see a return of the Sky Pirates. I would like to see Kairi Sane return to her pirate gimmick. I love that pirate gimmick. It's hysterical. Yeah. And I think she is uber talented. They could do a lot with her. She's well beloved, especially of course she's well beloved in Florida because of NXT, but she's one of those people that people love to see. She gets along with the little kids, like where Bayley had that void with the kids, where Bayley had the slap bracelets and the hugger and stuff. Kairi Sane could be that fill-in for Bayley for your younger demographic. So I think she's perfect to fill that void. But if you want to go home to your family, Totally get it. Totally understand. And if that ends up happening, and I talk bad about Sports Kita and the Sportster, those guys can punch me in the balls sometime. I don't care. But
that's strong.
I'm just saying. Like, I have the right to be wrong as well. You have the right to come back to me. But I hope Kairi Sane stays. I would love to see her continue in the WWE.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And we'll see. Obviously, we'll keep tabs on this and find out what the actual truth is in the next few weeks, I imagine. Haskell sent in a little bit of money. He said, with no fans, how is little Jimmy not brought back? Oh, that's a great point.
How is little Jimmy not the 24/7 champion? How did he not beat R-Truth for the 24/7 title already? Me and my friends have talked about this, actually, Haskell. Like, we wanted little Jimmy to have a run with the 24/7 title to see how that would work. And it just never came to fruition. Like, would it be on a mannequin? Like, how would it work exactly? But yeah, dude, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Gramash tossed in, he said, Kairi Sane has had some bad luck with injuries lately. And then Aaron Entertainment said, rumors have been from months ago. Io wanted to go home. She is married to Evil from New Japan. So I don't know,
Well, Io Shirai is staying her ass right here.
Yeah.
She's the NXT Women's Champion. She's staying right here. She ain't going anywhere. Sorry, Evil. Sorry about that. She's not
sorry,
going
guy. Sorry, guy. Sorry.
It's not happening.
Let's see. No Streamlabs, no other Streamlabs super chats have come in yet. So let's move on to our next subject. Go ahead, Aaron. What do we got next?
All right, this one's a little sensitive. It goes with what we've been talking about over the past few weeks. This time we're talking about Matt Riddle. And Matt Riddle came out against the allegations that were made against him by a colleague that said that he sexually assaulted her. And Matt Riddle came out. He has been in the past couple of weeks just kind of saying leaving out tweets saying, this isn't true, guys. Like, don't believe this. This person is. I had to change my phone number a couple times. Like, this is not this kind of situation.
Yeah.
And he came out in a video this week and said all of these same things, finally putting it on the record, saying that he cheated on his wife and that he admitted to that. He admitted it to her right away. And she forgave him. He even went on the Bubba the Love Sponge show. You may know Bubba the Love Sponge is the guy whose wife was in a sex tape with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for another time. But he went on, he went on that show and he expressed, how grateful he was to his wife for not leaving him and letting them work this out. So, Matt Riddle, a man stepping up and, saying his truth. And it's up to us, I guess, if we believe Matt Riddle.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to make this quick. I have never in my entire life sexually assaulted a man, a woman, or anybody, and that includes Samantha Tavel, aka Candy Cartwright. I never sexually assaulted you. This is in the video. And like you said, Cartwright claims, because she's a pro wrestler in the indie circuit, that Riddle forced her to perform oral sex on him during 2018 van ride with other wrestlers. He says the story about that van trip and the driver being asleep and me forcing you to do stuff and hop on whatever is a complete lie. It's a fabricated story because you're still mad. Riddle says Cartwright is upset because we had an affair, which he then broke off. So it's embarrassing because I feel like a piece of crap cheating on my wife and doing that, and now having to talk about it publicly. We had a relationship. We had a fling. I started to get sad and depressed because I was lying to my wife so much to hide what I was doing. I was lying to all my friends because I didn't want anybody to know, because it's not something cool. I didn't want to brag about it. I tried to end it. I told my wife about you and us. I tried to end it. I blocked you. I blocked your social media. At the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I did have an affair and I'm not happy about it, but I never sexually abused anybody. I never sexually assaulted anybody. And when I wanted to get out of this relationship, out of this situation, she said no. And she kept pursuing me and harassing me and stalking me. And even then, when she didn't get her way, she used the speak out movement to try to ruin my career. They said TMZ say it's unclear if Cartwright ever went to police with allegations. She said she was inspired to speak out by other, quote, brave women who came forward about sexual misconduct claims. So this is an interesting situation. Once again, Aaron, we get into these situations all the time, or we see these situations, the he said, she said. I mean, certainly Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are doing it in a high court in London right now. So why wouldn't a low court, in essence, here, Matt Riddle versus Candy Cartwright, be a place for it as well? So I don't know. I tend to kind of look at these situations and go like, well, I wasn't there. I can't possibly have an opinion. Do I think that people can lie about accusations? Certainly. I don't know, sexual or otherwise. Certainly people have lied about accusations in the past, but it's such a small number where other people have taken advantage of situations. And so, or it may just be something simple as two people engaged in something and one person saw it one way and one person saw it another, but none of us were there. So any of us trying to judge the situation would be out of bounds because we weren't there. So what do you think about all of this?
Well, the thing I want to try, I want to say this the right way so it doesn't come across the wrong way. Matt Riddle has been ahead of this since day one.
Yeah.
Matt Riddle didn't wait for all this stuff to come out. The second that it hit, he was on top of it. He had a statement ready to go. He was talking about it immediately, and he continues to stay ahead of this. Everything else that tries to come out, he squashes it immediately. So that tends to make me think that he's got, something going on here, saying he's changed his number a couple times, admitting to cheating on his wife is something. Damn, son, is something real bad. But like, just the way that he's handled it since day one, I tend to lean towards Matt Riddle. But I mean, I don't know. Like you said, we weren't there. I would love to just cut and dry. Well, she's wrong, he's wrong, but I can't really do that. Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If no charges are filed, then I don't know where this goes from here. Does it just die and we'll just have to believe who we believe? I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's been moving towards that place lately from any number of areas, this idea that, well, we want to hear the whole story. And then from that point, people decide one way or the other about it and how they feel about it, And so absolutely, you want to you create an environment where women feel comfortable and supported to come forward with allegations like this. But then again, you also want to create an environment where a person can defend themselves and we can explore what actually happened and hear the news, or explore what happened and decide what actually happened for ourselves. So I think we have to create the space for both. Do you know what I'm saying? And so as powerfully one for the other. And yes, we have been deficient as a society for centuries, not creating the space for women to come forward and feel supported with these allegations. So certainly we need to do some catching up here. But if we can handle that with these cases going forward, that there's a feeling that both sides will get heard fully and clearly and supported fully and clearly to tell their truths, then we can make up our own minds after that. So clearly Candy Cartwright has had the time to speak about it, but like you said, Riddle has been ahead of this thing from the beginning, and I think it's one of the reasons why WWE hasn't taken him off the air, hasn't barred him too much from being a part of stuff, because maybe they feel like, well, this guy's been ahead from the beginning, so until some really damning evidence comes out, we're not going to take him off. So I don't know. And maybe there's behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about.
There could be, and WWE even said, they came out a few weeks ago and said, if you're being investigated, you're suspended, and if you're convicted or whatever, you're fired. So if Matt Riddle's not even being investigated, I don't know what we're doing here. So we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, and Aaron, like TMZ said, it isn't clear if she's gone to the police with these allegations. So, right, because there is punishment for false allegations as well. There is a thing, depending on what state you're in, there's punishment for that. So you have to ask. You have to look at all the possible things going on here, all the X factors going on here, and see how this thing, as it goes along, what ends up happening here in this situation. But neither one of us were there. None of the people watching us were there, so we can't have a very strong opinion one way or the other. We got to see how this all plays out down the road. Anything else on that one? Not to be determined, guys. We'll follow up as needed. Yeah. Chris Taylor says, I hope Riddle is telling the truth. Styles versus Riddle SummerSlam could be so amazing. Sure. There's a King Corbin versus Matt Riddle. This is imposter WWE hacker. That's a lot. King Corbin versus Matt Riddle should do an old school horror movie style cinematic, bring back their past gimmick. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm done with cinematic matches, imposter, but we'll see. I know you are. I'm done with them. All right, what do we got next, Darren? This hour is flying by, my man. 30 minutes in already into the show. Don't forget, send in your Streamlabs and SuperChats. We are stopping at 4 o'clock, or just a little bit before 4. So get them in if you need to have them answered by us. What do we got next, brother? Do it, son. All right, so this week was a big week for NXT. I know we're not talking a lot of AEW this week, and that's my fault because I didn't watch it. But anyway, so we're talking about the biggest news of NXT of the week, and that is Keith Lee. Yeah. Keith freaking Lee winning the NXT championship from over a year, from Adam Cole, who was the champion for over a year, and is now the NXT North American champion, as well as the NXT heavyweight champion. Wow. Huge for the Limitless one, Keith Lee, a guy that has been blazing a trail since he hit NXT. A big guy that can move and can do all these wonderful things. And I'm glad to see that Keith Lee won. And I love Keith Lee. What else can I say? I think it's the right choice. I think it was the right time. I wish it would have been in front of a crowd. Of course, who doesn't? To see Adam Cole lose his championship, so you get that big crowd reaction. Right. But I'm happy for Keith Lee nonetheless. Happy to see Keith Lee win, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, he's so impressed in that match with Gargano that we saw recently at In Your House, and I've enjoyed Keith Lee from the first moment I got to watch. It's kind of like Walter. Like, first time I saw Walter, I was like, who the hell is this? And really enjoyed his matches from that point forward. Keith Lee, another one. And look, not a lot of big dudes get a chance to necessarily carry the main strap of any federation. And I don't mean big dudes sort of muscular. I mean larger gentlemen. Like Mark Henry has come close so many times, had that great fake retirement thing against Cena, and should have led to a better match, should have led to a match where Mark Henry had won that belt. It would have been crazy interesting to see them make that decision. But hey, on the heels of Black Lives Matter, on the heels of WWE being called out quite a lot over the last few months about the fact that they don't necessarily push up wrestlers of color into positions of power or status in the company, I think this is a smart move overall because A, Keith Lee is a fantastic wrestler that has taken the world, taken the WWE universe by storm, and B, for PR purposes, it keeps a little bit of the a little bit of the a little bit of the loudness of the voices off of the backs of the WWE for now. We'll see how long they let him hold the belt. Is he going to give it up that quickly? And this pulls Velveteen Dream back into the conversation once whatever's going on with him is settled, right? Because they said he would. Regal said he wouldn't get another shot at the belt as long as Adam Cole is the champion. Well, Adam Cole isn't the champion anymore. It's Keith Lee now. And I can't recall the last time I ever saw two black wrestlers fighting for the main strap in a federation. So I'm excited by this possibility here. And I love Keith Lee as a wrestler, and he's a great entertainer and does so many great things in the ring. And he's great with the crowds too, when they show up, when they're there, right?
Absolutely. And a couple points I wanted to put in here. I saw a lot of people online, not in the chat or anything, but I saw a lot of people online saying, oh my gosh, it's the first black NXT champion. Actually, it's the second. It's Big E Langston, right, or Big E, as he's known now in the New Day, was the NXT champion. I believe he was the second NXT champion ever. Yeah. So he was the first black, actually, NXT champion. So you're wrong there on the trivia, so get that right. And then also, I was reading that I think it was someone said that 11 of the WWE champions currently are persons of color, which is very interesting, isn't it, from where we were years ago to see 11 persons of color holding WWE championships. I got to think that's progress in some way, shape, or form. I got to think that. But it looks like Keith Lee, if you watch the end of the Great American Bash, Keith Lee looks like he will be handling with Karrion Kross, TikTok Keith Lee, which I would hate to see Keith Lee be a transitional champion like we talked about Sergeant Slaughter last week on the watch along. I would hate to see that for Keith Lee, but I have a feeling it might happen. But if anybody could take down Karrion Kross right now, it's Keith Lee.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's Karrion Kross's time right now to go and take this thing on, or do you think it's? I mean, he did demolish Ciampa, so, and you said they've been building him up. So, is it the right time to put him up against Keith Lee?
I think they love him so much. It's kind of weird timing going on because you have two guys that are on like these big paths right now, going straight to the top. And Karrion Kross was a guy that was almost right there, and Keith Lee just kind of stole that momentum from him. Yeah, like I really thought that Karrion Kross was going to be the next NXT champion, the guy to dethrone Adam Cole, all that kind of stuff, but it ended up being Keith Lee, and it just might be one of those things of timing where Karrion Kross is just a little bit too late. Yeah, and Keith Lee catches fire, and we're just going to have to wait to see what happens with Karrion Kross, and maybe he doesn't win, or maybe he gets it down the road, or maybe when we have fans back, we get that big match. But I don't think we're going to get it right away. I think it'll be a little bit of a build before we do get it, but it should be awesome, and I think Keith Lee will actually hold on to that NXT title. Yeah, I hope so, man. I mean, I agree with you. I don't want to see a transitional champion with a black champion. I'm sorry, we're not there. I know people will be like, well, what does it matter? Skin color doesn't matter. No, it does. And it does in representation. It does when you've historically been underserving of the people of color community who are wrestlers. So until you level it back out again, then no, we can't look at it and go, no, the color doesn't matter. They should be transitional champions that are black or white or Latino or whatever, or Asian. It doesn't matter. It will not matter once you make up the deficit and it's back to equal.
then I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be, and that's what we all want, to be honest with you. It isn't about representation just to lord it over white wrestlers or whatever. No, it's about balancing the scales out a little bit. So once the scales are balanced, then we can all go back to believing that it is a fair and equal situation, and we can watch the matches and see transitional champions of any race or color or gender, and we'll be fine with it. So it's just, we got to get back to that point. Keith Lee is a good, strong step towards that. And like Aaron just said, 11 of the champions, people of color, that's pretty shocking. So I'm happy to hear that overall. So it's good stuff.
But now the question becomes, with Keith Lee as the champion, Karrion Kross looks to be in his crosshairs, what happens with Adam Cole, baby?
Yeah,
what do you do with Adam Cole, who's been your champion for 400 some days? Does he go up?
Yes.
What happens to the rest of the group? Where's Kyle going? Where's Bobby going? Where's everybody going? Where's Roddy going? Do they go up to the main? Do they go up to the main roster with no crowd? That would make me want to throw up.
I wonder if you tweet that, Aaron? Did you tweet that? Somebody tweeted that. It's like the Undisputed Era should not debut at a time in the main roster when you can't have a crowd pop behind it. But there's nothing you can do about this. The coronavirus thing is a real thing. You've got to just keep going. Vince decided to keep doing matches, keep doing storylines, keep doing shows. So he's kind of a victim of his own hubris, so to speak.
I understand that 100%. And yes, the coronavirus is very real. You don't have to tell me that, especially where I am. I know it's very real, but here's the deal, man. The Undisputed Era, especially these three guys, this has been cultivated for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Like we've been slowly cultivating how good Adam Cole, the second coming of Shawn Michaels, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, one of the best tag teams in the world, Roderick Strong, one of the best all-around talents that there is in this one super group who sells, and I know I talk about this a lot, and I'm sorry, guys, they sell a shit ton of merch.
Yeah, it's great merch.
They're wildly popular in WWE circles with fans that are hardcore fans and fans that are those indie fans, those fringe fans. They are very popular with these groups. Yeah. They are not going to break up the Undisputed Era. That is not going to happen. They are going to bring them up to the main roster as a full team, and you're going to see it. And I know we're talking coronavirus, but it's got to be with the crowd. So you can do little things here or there with the Era until then. Maybe January, maybe Royal Rumble, you bring them up, but don't bring them up now because we will lose so much of that momentum that the Undisputed Era has been building for so long.
Yeah, fair. Tommy Tom sends in a super chat. Says, best thing for Lee is that Vince is behind him. Survivor Series highlights Vince's faith in him there with Roman. Vince wants him on the main roster, and that may be it. I mean, he may get this like rocket fuel driven ascension to the top here. Aaron, Keith Lee might lose that belt and go right into the main roster. That's certainly possible. He's built to do it. He's strong enough. He's got the support of the WWE universe for the most part that have seen him or watched him. So maybe that's the debut over the Undisputed Era. What do you think?
Well, here's what I think. If Keith Lee is going to be put in there, like in the Royal Rumble this past year, he was in there with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. And
Brock Lesnar, took bumps from Keith Lee. And now that's something that may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but I read it as Brock Lesnar said, I want to work with Keith Lee a little bit because they were the only two in the ring at the time.
Yeah.
And Brock took bumps from Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Brock ain't taking bumps from many like new NXT guys. Like I don't think he's going to bump for Ciampa, but he will bump for Keith Lee. And of course, it makes sense because Keith Lee is gigantic and Tommaso Ciampa in comparison is not.
Right.
So it does make sense in that respect. But Keith Lee being the guy that was left at Survivor Series, that was a point that was made. Yeah, I think Vince is behind Keith Lee, even though he's not like Braun Strowman, like ripped big guy. He's not like Drew McIntyre, super ripped. He's got a little cushion for the pushing, Mr. Keith Lee. And I think that Vince is just going to have to get behind it sooner or later because everybody else is.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. Absolutely. And it seems like if they're going to make him a transitional champion, this is a good way to kind of remove that transitional tag on him because they say, well, we're going to push you up to the main roster. We want you there. That's where we think you can work. And I think he can. I think right now, if they put him up, he'd be fine. He'd be absolutely fine. People would be over with him and everything that's happening, there in the roster. So we'll see. Definitely we'll see. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him for sure. And if he does the Karrion Kross thing, that's going to be a hell of a match. A hell of a match for sure. All right, what do we got next, my man?
We got the match of the week. We're done with all the stories, man.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness.
Wait. Sorry. One Streamlab came through here. I missed it last time, and I want to make sure. Hill Nellums donated. Thank you, Hill. It's a very kind donation. Late to the show, so not sure what was talked about yet. I'm very happy for Keith Lee and hope that he gets to run with at least the NXT Championship for more than a minute. We just talked about. Saw him in Evolve just 2 years ago, so to see this rise makes me very, very happy. Did you know that? Did you see him in Evolve when he was over there?
Yeah, I got introduced to Keith Lee a couple of years ago. I was actually at an MLW show where his girlfriend Mia Yim was working, and I talked to Keith Lee for a minute, and then I was like, "Who is that guy?" Like, "Oh, that's Keith Lee." I was like, "Okay." So then I went home and looked up Keith Lee, and I watched some of his matches with Matt Riddle before they were both in NXT, and just some of the things that guy could do. Like, we haven't even seen the full extent of what Keith Lee can do on NXT, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Speaking of which, WWE actually bought Evolve. That's something that happened, I believe, this past week. So we could probably see some of those Keith Lee matches on the WWE Network sooner rather than later.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. And thank you, Hill Nellums. Really appreciate the donation. We got about less than 20 minutes left in the show. So if you want to send anything through, now is the time to send it through because we're wrapping up tight at like 3:59, 3:58. So PT. So, all right, Aaron, let's jump into this main match, this madness of a match between these ladies. Incredible stuff. Give me the background or give us the background. What's this all about?
Listen, I don't have very much background on this one. Okay, I just I was given the match and said run with it. I said fine, I will run with it. Let me tell you what happens here, guys. Let me tell you what happens right off the freaking bat. Did you watch Did you watch like the interviews, or did you jump straight to the match?
Yeah, I did. And one extra element of watching this is put on the translations on YouTube. They do not completely translate in English what they're saying, but it adds a hilarious new element to the watch for sure.
Whoops, I did not do that at all. But yeah, by the way, this is on YouTube and all in Japanese, and I put the link to the match on my Twitter. I'll put it in the comments section here as well, so you guys can watch it if you haven't. But okay, so you have Manami Toyota, who I had no idea who that is, versus Aja Kong, who I do know who that is because I saw her in AEW a couple of years ago when she was in the Casino Battle Royal. So I saw what she could do.
Right.
But okay, so check this out. It reminded me of modern day, like if you had to compare Manami Toyota to somebody modern day, I would say she's like Kairi Sane and Io Shirai together.
Yeah.
Not just because, she's Asian, not because of that, but because of the same moveset that they have. And it would make sense because they're Asians and they have Asian wrestling styles that they would do these kind of things.
Yeah.
But Aja Kong reminded me of Vader. Wow. And like, could you imagine?
Statement. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine going up against this person? And she's nimble, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
very nimble.
If Vader and Keith Lee had a child and it was a girl, it would be Aja Kong. It's unbelievable. The way that this match starts, I was like, okay, so here we go. Two girls going to wrestle. Great. It's going to be great. Yeah. And then all of a sudden that sunset flip powerbomb that Toyota hits right off the bat. Oh. And we don't stop. We don't stop from there. We just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. What was your first impressions of watching this? Because I could go all day, but
yeah, my initial thoughts as soon as they were doing the promos, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. One is kind of like this, doesn't talk that much. The other one's the respectful, and then she seemed like really dainty. And I was like, okay, this could be like a what's her face, Johnny Gargano's girl, Candice LeRae. I thought it was going to be a Candice LeRae situation against, and it's going to be a little bit of a squash match. Like she get a little bit of offense, but then she'd be finished. But you said this was a great match. You said a fan said this was an incredible match. So I went in going, well, I hope it's not a squash match, but let's see what happens. And the bumps both of these ladies took and put on each other, the moves, the multiple what I thought were broken necks that looked like they were happening during this match. It was incredible, the nimbleness and dexterity, the flexibility of these ladies to take the stuff that they took in this match. They used the ramp, they used the belts, they used a table. Everything is involved. There are so many near pinfalls that when you're watching this, man, you can't help but get caught up with how many times you think to yourself, oh, that's it. And then boom, they kick out, or she bridges. She did the best bridges I've seen ever, and maybe the most I've ever seen in one match ever. It was incredible to watch the ferocity. The one time who's the larger one? Is that Ono? Or
Aja Kong, yeah.
When Aja Kong just literally falls on top of Toyota, it looks like that's it. It's done. She's broken her rib cage. It's over, and she kicks out. It's incredible how much these two ladies put themselves through, and the match well-paced, very fun. You get the pauses or the submission moves when you need them to get everybody catch a breath, but they're just followed by some high-flying moves and some brutal spots throughout the match.
I don't know if I got to take a breath. I was this entire time. Like, I watched it at night, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like sweating, like I can't go to sleep. Like, it's crazy. Manami Toyota, ropes be damned. She doesn't use any hand placement. She just jumps on the rope. She's like, hell, I'm going for it. And she just does these dives. I'm just like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life. Just the way that she just threw caution to the wind, backflip, front flip, doesn't matter. Elbow drop, don't care. I'll just drop it right on you. And Kong with that pile driver.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, coming off the top rope, just those kicks that you can hear. Those are stiff because it's Japanese and it's strong style. Them babies are stiff. Yeah. And then, so the spot of the match for me is when Kong pulls Toyota to the outside. She's been beating on her this whole time. Yeah. And she puts her up in a dominator position. If you know, like Ron Simmons or Farouk used to do the dominator. Yeah. So she puts her up in that, it kind of like reverse on her shoulder, and then runs the length of the ramp. And just thump. Just dumps her right on the stage, not the ramp, but just like the way that she does it. Yeah. Oh my God. I could not believe that was a thing in this match. Could not believe it at all. And then she wraps her up in the ropes, and she backs, and Kong backs all the way up on the stage, runs, and just boom, just hits her in the, oh my God, it was so brutal. And then Toyota bounces back and puts her through a table.
Yeah, puts her through a table.
I was just like, this match is insane.
Toyota took so many pile drivers that looked like her head was sticking out between the legs rather than the legs protecting the head. You saw that so many times. Plus those sunset flips. I don't know what you call those things that they were putting on each other. The sunset flips where they were smashing their necks down onto the ground. Lord God, onto the canvas rather. Lord God, dude, the amount of hits that they took and the big moves that they did and the near falls. This felt like I was watching an old school ECW match or an old school like hardcore NXT match where you're just like, oh, like you just kept thinking it was going to end after one of those incredible spots, and it didn't, and it kept going, and you're like, wow, how long is this match going to go? Because these ladies can't possibly be able to keep doing this to each other at some point. And some of those like what are those reverse elbows or reverse forearms? Those really landed, or the kicks to the face. It was strong style. It was absolutely strong style, dude. It was intense.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Strong style. That's like that should be the match you have to watch us do this podcast. Like you got to watch this match. Holy moly. Like, we talked about Bayley and Sasha a few weeks ago and how great that match is. And I'm watching this like, like this might be better than that match. Like, this match is unfreaking believable. And Kong wins the Falcon Arrow. Like, not even like one of the, like, it looked brutal. It was more of the drill claw that Brian Cage does right now. It's not really a Falcon Arrow, but the way that she planted her, and it was like 1, 2, and even the referee, when he hit 3, was just like, it was exhausting to watch. But I'm so glad that I did, and thank you, Bruce, for suggesting that, man. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you, if you got matches that we need to see, we can't see everything. Like, we love wrestling. We both love wrestling so much. We've seen a lot of matches in our time, but we can't see everything. And this is one that I'm so glad that I got to watch that wasn't in that main periphery. It's not a WWE match. It's not a WCW match. No, it's not an ECW match. It's not something I probably would have seen otherwise. Yeah. I'm so glad I got to watch it. I got a lot out of it, watching their styles. And I'm telling you, if this match was on an NXT takeover, it would be the match of the year, the match of the decade, everything.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking up this is All Japan Women's Wrestling, AJW, Domu, Superwoman Great War, Big Egg Wrestling Universe that happened on November 20th, 1994. There were 23 matches that night, Aaron. 23 matches. That ranged anywhere from like 4 minutes to the highest. I think the highest match was about 21 minutes and 45 seconds, which was a 6-man tag match. So there was all an incredible amount of matches. And I probably guarantee you this is the one they were talking about the most afterwards. Just such incredible back and forth between these two ladies and how it all went down. And here's the nuttiness of it. That was just that was the tournament first round match. That was just a first round match. AJ Kong fought again later on in the thing down the road here. Fought again in this match. Incredible stuff, dude. Overall, just she kept going in this tournament. So just mind blowing. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched this match, we can't recommend that. If it's on YouTube, ignore the Japanese. Ignore the fact that it's in Japanese. You can definitely still enjoy it because the announcers bring it to life. Whether you understand what they're saying in Japanese or not, they still bring it to life, and it was great to watch. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. Also, it's not really even that long.
Yeah, no, it's like 13 minutes. Or something.
Yeah. It jam packs everything you need. In that time frame, which is what makes it even better. And I love. Oh my God, I love that about this match, and I'm so glad. Once again, I'm just so glad that I got to see it, dude. Like, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, I certainly wanted to recommend to a lot of people, and she's like AJ Kong is still doing it. She's been doing it All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. She's 49 years old now. So still, I think she's still out there doing her thing.
Yeah, she's still doing it, man.
She was on AEW last year.
Yep.
She teamed
with. That's what I was talking about. She was in AEW in like a 6-woman tag. But how many matches did you say was on that card in one
23.
Night? Okay. I went to the Mae Young Classic a few years ago, and they taped a lot of that in advance. There were 17 matches in one night. Wow. I watched 17 matches in a row. And I'm telling you, that is the most exhausted I've ever been watching wrestling to get up and get down for 17 matches. I can't imagine doing any more. I can't imagine doing 21. Are you insane?
Yeah,
Just I love wrestling to death, but that about killed me. Like watching all those matches.
And here's the thing: David Meltzer has called Manami Toyota, who's in this match, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, regardless of gender. She retired in 2017 after fighting for 30 years, 3 decades, dude. She debuted in '87, fought for 3 decades. Throughout the world, All Japan, Gaia Japan, Ice Ribbon, JWP, Joshi, Oz Academy, the UWA, the WWD, and was named a match of the year in 1993 with her match against with Toshio Yamada against Dynamite Kansai and Mayumi Ozaki by the Wrestling Observer. Then match of the year again in 1995, the next year after this match, versus Kyoko Inoue, May 7th in Tokyo, Japan. Then voted by Wrestling Observer as the most outstanding wrestler in 95, the reader's favorite wrestler in 95, and then achieved the Hall of Fame status for the Wrestling Observer in 2002. So these are not 2 just random Japanese female wrestlers going at it. These are both wrestlers with an incredible amount of legacy, and this match will absolutely turn you into fans of both of these ladies for the amount of I don't know, just amount of things they give each other throughout, the amount of bumps they put on each other. It's incredible.
Women's wrestling did not begin in 2013, contrary to popular belief. It's been around for a long time, and the Japanese women have one of the richest histories of them all.
Yeah, absolutely. As it should be. Tommy Tom says Ricochet versus Keith Lee in What Culture Pro Wrestling World Cup is wild. See how Ricochet is underutilized. Shock finish. First time seeing Lee equals instant fan. Oh, I've never seen this. Ooh, this could be fun to take a look
either.
At. Ricochet versus
I'm a big Ricochet fan. Maybe you'll end up being on the list. Who knows? I mean, we need to diversify this list. I mean, I think we need newer guys on there, so I'm going to take a look at that too.
Absolutely.
I'll take a look at it.
And look, and as we wrap up here, another thing to throw out there, we're going to be doing some watch-alongs, and they might take the place of an episode or down the road or two, only because Aaron's got some moving stuff going on. We were out of town last week for July 4th, so we couldn't do a live show, but we want to focus on doing live episodes of Strong Style. But when we can't, we will do a watch along of a big match last week. If you haven't watched it yet, please, I can't encourage you enough. If you're watching this, to go watch our watch along of Sergeant Slaughter versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 7, I think, and watch it there. It is absolutely an incredible, fun match to revisit, and we have a good time watching it. So just, put it up on your WWE network. Hit play when we tell you to hit play, and then watch along with our commentary in your ears. We do not pause. We do not stop the match at all. It's all the way through. We just talk as we're watching it. So, and we'll have another one coming up really soon, probably for next week as well. So, so get involved in that. And the more people that watch those watch-alongs, that'll encourage Aaron and I to do more of them. That's the deal here, ladies and gentlemen. You all know this. We had a great 2 Fridays ago, we had a great show. Over 1,200 people have watched it. We're trying to build Strong Style, so you got to tell people about it, and you got to be faithful watchers and listeners of Strong Style. It helps push the brand further and further, helps people get aboard. We got those t-shirts coming really soon. I'm sure once the moving stuff is done, Aaron will be able to focus up on that and make it happen for people to buy those shirts as well. But this is what we're trying to do. So the way you can help us, if you can't send a Streamlabs or Super Chat, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and then share these episodes on your social media. Get people excited about our conversations about pro wrestling. That's my 2 cents, man.
Yeah, the 2 Strong Style shirts are already out there and ready to go. Sean Barreto got one. I forget who got the other. I'm sorry. But you should have them by now. And if not, you should have them very soon, hopefully by tomorrow. I know it was a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, these watch-alongs is something that you asked for, and we're giving it to you. So next week, Mr. Perfect versus Bret the Hitman Hart. SummerSlam 1991 for the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, I'm actually finally moving next week to a house. No, we could talk about that another time. It's COVID. It's bad. But anyway, stuff happens. So yeah, we're moving to a different location. So I actually won't have internet next Friday to do the show. So that's why we did the watch along in advance, already taped and recorded. So it won't be live next week, but still, please watch. I know it's kind of weird. I was watching the watch along, and it's kind of weird to watch us and the watch along. It's kind of creepy watching us sitting there looking at the screen. It's kind of weird, but you get used to it. We're both good looking guys. I mean, just deal with it.
Just put us on your headphones. You don't have to watch us watching.
Yeah, you don't have to watch
the
us.
Match. Just listen to us watching it.
Yeah,
so Scott Welsh,
deal with it. Yeah.
Scott Welsh getting his dream come true. Would love a watch along with Bret versus Owen SummerSlam in the Blue Cage at some point.
You're going to get it because it's on the list.
That's right. It's on the list. It is coming. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody. Aaron, where can they find you and everything you're doing, my man?
You can find me on Twitter at Only Aaron Turner and coddling my newest purchase right here. You can find me coddling that in my bedroom tonight. And we'll see you next week for Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect. Watch along. Please watch it.
Absolutely. And that's a fantastic, Undisputed Era, one of the greatest matches, one of the greatest series of matches you're ever going to see in NXT. Just watch those guys fight any of the matches there. It's incredible, incredible work. You can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And one more time, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button and share this on your social media. Okay, I got to jump. Love all of you. Thank you for taking the time to watch us live. And we'll see you next week with a watch along of Bret versus Owen. Bret versus Mr. Perfect. And then after that, we'll be back live again with a brand new show here on Strong Style. You all take care. Be safe. Wear a mask, and we'll talk to you next week on Strong Style.